For more resources, visit rymonline.org.
The Local Youth Worker is a daily podcast that's centered on 5 questions each week. Ranging from the practical to the professional, we're looking for answers to the questions you're asking. Whether you're in full-time, part-time, or even volunteer youth ministry, this podcast is for you.
All right, welcome back. We're here with Joe Deegan. As you heard yesterday, he was at Christ the King, the youth director and youth coordinator, served there for 7 years, and then since the call in another direction and has pursued music. And so the question for today for you, Joe, is what steps would you advise others to take when they're wrestling with a possible change of call, change of career move? What are some thoughts that you think are helpful in the midst of that transition?
I think thinking about, you mentioned this yesterday, the gifts that you have, the gifts that God has given you, and thinking about how you can use them for His glory, and how they're best being used. And I think, you mentioned this too, the idea of being in youth ministry, you wear a lot of different hats, and I found that to be true of my own time in youth ministry, and doing lots of different things, and getting to explore a lot of different things, and slowly realizing the areas where I felt most gifted and where I wanted to continue to hone those skills and to use that for God's kingdom. So I think maybe a big starting point is recognizing your own gifts, which is probably a hard thing to do for Christians, because we want to be humble, mm-hmm. and we don't want to. I think a lot of times we view our gifts and talents as something that's like, if we think about them or talk about them, we're being prideful.
Yeah.
But I always use the analogy, when a girl shows you the ring that her fiance just gave you, she's not bragging about herself, she's bragging about the giver. And that's that. I think you could look at our gifts and talents the same way. We can talk about the things that God has given us that are so great, and it doesn't say anything about us. It says everything about who He is.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so it's not a gift, by implication was given.
Yeah,
and so we have nothing to do to earn it or receive it, in any way. And so I think that's a good point that you're bringing up, that it can sound prideful, but it's helpful to think about, and I think where it's helpful to think about our gifts is, asking trusted, people in your life.
Yeah.
Because there is that internal and external call that you feel. And so did you kind of go through that?
Absolutely. That's a huge part of it. So probably the first step is think about your own giftedness. And the second step is talk to other people, because, we might have a really skewed vision of ourselves and
hence
what
American
we're gifted
Idol
at.
Those people that show up on
and so, when you do feel like, hey, this is an area of giftedness that I think I have, and I want to pursue this more, to talk to people in your life who can be honest with you and tell you whether or not they think it's a good idea to pursue that. And I had countless people in my life that I could turn to at church and in my family and friends, and so that was huge. But I also think that being able to find ways to showcase those gifts to people maybe that you don't know, and get their response from that was super helpful for me, to have people who didn't owe me any sort of nice answer, who were able to be honest with me and tell me what they thought about my music.
That's a good point, and that's probably, like you're saying, extremely helpful to you, because you can't help. It's kind of like when your mom tells you you're getting something, like,
exactly.
Thanks, Mom. I know you love me.
Yeah.
But those people that have that bias, instead of find people that don't have that. Good deal. Well, that's helpful, Joe. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely.